if anybody pops up. I know it's kind of late on a Sunday for everyone who has to work in the morning. Hey Troy, welcome in. How are you doing tonight? Great live yesterday. Enjoyed that. I'm sitting out here in the backyard and I got my mini propane fire pit lit. Hey Jeff, welcome in. Hey Sock Monkey, welcome in. Hello Audra, good to see you. Like I was saying, I was just sitting back in my backyard, got my mini dual fuel fire pit lit, and it can run on propane, butane, or a combination of both. I'm enjoying this little pit, especially since we're in a burn ban and can't really I can't really light the wood fire I have. And I got a combination of wood back here. I got a lot of well-seasoned mesquite, uh, the trashy hackberry. Hello, Jody's Genealogy. Welcome in. Welcome in, Todd. So with that wood I have, I mean, I was saying I got mesquite, hackberry, some elm. Sometimes I like getting the mountain cedar, the one that I like whacking to make it the pollen fly. Yes, Todd, you called me the cedar whacker. But I like actually burning the wood because it's a real resonance tree and puts out a very good smell when it's burning. Um, the hackberry's fine, but I burn right through it real quick. Hello, traveling with the Whitcombs. Welcome in. Good to see you. Yeah, I will be having a video posting Monday, my usual time, 4 p.m. And what it was about is I took the Sendero Balcones Trail and the Bluff Spurs Trail at Government Canyon State Natural Area. And what I when I did my previous hike, I passed by those trails, and I actually considered taking them, but it may have been a good thing. I mean, I probably could have handled it, but it was a good thing I didn't, because that one hike was about 6.5 miles, but with these trails, I ended up doing about between 4 and 5 miles. That's what I'm estimating. I was out there for several hours, but unfortunately, since it was the backcountry trails at Government Canyon, Jackie Boy's not allowed on it because that park was essentially built to protect a section of the Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone. In fact, my former company was part of the start of that park, but they later on withdrew the San Antonio water system. So, and there's a bunch of trails at that park I still need to go on, but all the trails in the front country, let me see, one's called the Lytle Loop, I'll think of the other one in a little bit. Oh, the Savannah Trail. Um, the Lido Loop is probably about 5 miles long, 5 to 6 miles. The Savannah Loop's maybe 2 miles. But those are the only trails that Jackie Boy can go on at that park. And hello, Fuzzy Adventures. Welcome in. Hello, Arlene. Good to see you. Yeah, those are the only trails Jackie Boy can go on. And I think most of y'all know that Jackie Boy is my 12-pound miniature pinscher. And he is one tough little hiking dog. As for hikes coming up, I haven't really planned one yet. Um, but this following weekend, we will be out at Fort Clark Springs Day, probably on that Sunday. We'll go out there. You know, they have a lot of reenactors of old fort life. The Lipan Band of Apaches will be out there. We'll be meeting up with them. The Bexar County Buffalo Soldiers, who we've met with several times. We met them a few years ago at the historic Fort Stockton Living History Days. So when we were out, oh, thank you, Jeff. Yep, no snow here. Yeah, and I hope you stay safe, Jeff. You know, don't have any power outages or anything. But I'm pretty certain your area knows how to deal with it, or I sure would hope. So we'll be out there with we'll be out there with the Lipan Apache. But afterwards, they actually they actually have a place that's in Brackettville, which is right there at Fort Clark Springs, is inside of Brackettville. But they have a place, and they have a get-together where they talk. There's Native American blessings, and they also plan to have bison tamales, and I am definitely looking forward to them. Oh yeah, Arlene is great, Troy. I definitely would say that. Let me see. Cora Leanne, welcome in. Nice to see you. Hello, Emily. Good to see you. Welcome in. So we have that. But I'm going to talk about what we did today. The San Antonio Zoo had Locals Day. Usually a ticket for the zoo, I think it's expensive. It's like $30 a person. But when they have Locals Day, it's an $8 ticket. So Joanne and I got in there for 16 bucks. Went and toured the zoo. It's actually a quite nice zoo, but some of the sections were under construction. And I took a lot of videos there. Hey, Gary Holtz, welcome in. Yeah, they do. They sound good. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I hope they have a good salsa with it, too. Hello, Ronnie. That's Nature and Another. Welcome in, and good to see you. So we're out at the zoo for pretty much all day, and it was actually nice. And they had a certain gorilla exhibit, and that was cool to see. But I tried to get as much video as I could, but the zoo was packed. There were a lot of people. What else? Oh, later on in March, um, Joanne got invited out to Fort Stockton Living History Days. She will be there, have a booth set up. She'll be representing the Humano Apache. And what's also cool, and I hope they accommodate this gentleman, and I'm looking forward to meeting him. I'm not going to say his name, but he is the chief of the Humano Apache. The older gentleman, they say he's in his mid-80s, so I hope they accommodate him. And I'm actually hoping to get some interview with him. But going back to Fort Stockton, when we meet up with the Lipan Apache, I will probably get a quick interview from, I'm just going to say his name, Richard. He has appeared on my videos before. He is the tribal chair of the Lipan Apache Band of Texas. Really nice, sharp gentleman. In fact, he's an Army veteran from Vietnam. And I imagine Sock and Troy can tell you about this. He is from the Vietnam War. I've heard about it differently. He did receive the Silver Star. But you know what? He's a super nice guy. Excuse me. Of course, I'm going to try to get a hike in somewhere, and I haven't decided on any place yet where I can get Jackie Boy on trail with me. I'm thinking of taking him on a long hike called the Spring Branch Trail at Hill Country State Natural Area. I've done a few videos of being out there. It's usually on the Wilderness Trail. I've done West Peak Overlook Trail, and I've done the Ice Cream Hill Trail there. The Ice Cream Hill Trail was a bit challenging, but I want to do the Spring Branch Trail, which is over 6.5 miles, and it's considered a challenging trail. And those of y'all who have gone hiking with me know how I can hike. Todd and Troy have gone hiking with me before. Yeah, it sounds that way, but it had some inclines, and those inclines were broken up rock. I think its elevation gain was about 400 feet, but 400 feet in a short distance. And then coming down from it was the same way. Yeah. What are these? Oh, thank you, Arlene. Now here's somebody's caterwauling out there. Yeah, no ice cream along the way. But when I did Ice Cream Hill, Jackie Boy was with me. I think I did that back in December. Oh, you heard the cat too, Emily? Yeah, I mean, it is loud. And I asked Troy something, if you're still in here. What's a good place to kayak down your way? Oh, yeah, that we definitely need to do. Yes, Troy. I have never went hiking there before. Yeah, you can get hold of me, and it's easy to schedule with me. I got to work around your schedule. Yeah, also, Troy, I will let you know if United San Antonio Powwow, the United San Antonio Powwow, they haven't announced anything to the best of my knowledge, but they usually have a powwow during Fiesta, and that will be in April. And of course, looking further into the year, when I pretty certain they will be having the powwow at in Corpus Christi again, and in Floresville. Oh yeah, we kayaked. Yeah, I can actually start kayaking probably in about a month from here. We'll be warm enough. What else I would like to do, but I would have to get a partner on this at some point, is do the mission reach. Go to our takeout point, load the kayaks into one truck, and then put in at the mission reach along the San Antonio River. I think the takeout point is Spada Park. I think I would have to, it's between 5 and 10 miles on the San Antonio River. Hey, Barry, welcome in. So I would like to do a kayaking at the Mission Reach. And I also, before it warms up here, I want to go and visit the Devil's River again. I intended to last month with a friend of mine, but that friend of mine ended up having an injury and couldn't go, and I didn't quite feel like driving there by myself, because it's about a 4-hour drive. It's between those of y'all that may know the Texas towns, it would be between Del Rio and Sonora. Uh, but kind of in the spring of last year, I went to Devil's River, the Dan Hughes unit, and man, that was beautiful. Kind of a desert landscape, and then you have that crystal turquoise green, turquoise water there. And they said that water is clean enough that you could get away with drinking directly out of the river. Of course, if I was to do that, I would still filter it. But what I want to do is go to the Del Norte unit. I had been there before, but it was before I was doing anything on YouTube. And there's a couple things depending if I take Jackie Boy, because, you know, it could be a warm day here in South Texas. Get out near the Devil's River and it's already hot, you know. It's not unusual for that area to get over 110 degrees. Yeah, it gets extremely hot. And of course, one thing I like looking into, and this is more or less the geology of the area, or, well, I can't think of the proper term. In that area, it's kind of a mix of the South Texas brush, the Texas Hill Country, and the Chihuahuan Desert. But it has a lot of effect of the Chihuahuan Desert. Has a lot of the same vegetation, you know. There's a unique shrub out there called an ocotillo. Most of the year it looks like a dead stick with a bunch of thorns on it. But after a rainfall, it'll put on leaves and it will put on a brilliant flower. And that flower is red and orange. I think I've sent Troy a picture of it before. Hello, Chris. Welcome in. And one thing I've talked about, Troy's been with me on trails, same with Todd, where I pointed out plants and I said, no, you can actually eat the berries from it, or this plant you can do this with, or whatever. But with the ocotillo, you can actually take the flower buds and brew them and make them into a tea, because it's actually in the tea and blueberry families. And I've bit on those flower buds before, and has a tart, sweet taste to them. Also, there's a friend of mine, Troy knows him, Justin, and we're out on a hike one time, and I kept picking the agarita berries. Said, here you go. And I'll bring up on my videos, hey Justin, the deathberry plant. And that's what he was calling them. But they're actually kind of sweet and tart too. How I learned some of them, Chris, was some of them I looked up, but my oldest sister was a botanist, so I got a lot of information from her. I've heard of them. They're not in this area, so I'm not very familiar with them. Uh, what were they similar in taste to? Oh, cool. Hey, Mr. Switchback Texan. Welcome in. Good to see you. Hey, excellent video of Mother Neff. That's a park I need to visit. Yeah. Yeah, Switchback Texan does some excellent videos. Yeah, also on there, that same tree that I hit that throws the pollen around, the ash juniper. Actually, the female trees in the fall actually put on a juniper berry. And one time I think we had the proper conditions, and I tried the juniper berries, and it initially tasted like a red grape, and then it had that piney aftertaste. Yeah, I would definitely love to get out to Mother Neff. I need to definitely do that at one point. I would also like to get back out and do some hikes out in West Texas. I still have Guadalupe Peak on my list. Also, what's on my list, and I didn't make it last fall. Same park, Guadalupe Mountains National Park. I would like to do a fall hike there at McKittrick Canyon. They said it's some of the most brilliant fall colors in the state of Texas. I've seen a few videos of it, and it's the same tree that's in Lost Maples. The big tooth maple is out there, and but I think McKittrick Canyon has a more consistent fall color change. Another hike I would like to do out in is out at Big Bend National Park. I'd like to do Pine Canyon as a, as a fall hike, because we're actually moving out of the time of year to be hiking in Big Bend. I've been there in April, and it's 110 degrees. Yeah, it gets brutally hot there. Where else? I would like to do a revisit, and I may just pick up and go to this park and do the Fate Bell tour at Seminole Canyon State Park and see the pictograph. Um, I'm gonna ask Troy and Corey this: have y'all been to Seminole Canyon? Hi, Hadley. Yeah, it'd probably be quite a distance for you, but it's kind of a really neat place to go to. There's some of the rock art there. Okay, I thought you might have, Troy. Yeah, it has some of what's called the Lower Pecos River rock art. Um, Last year, Joanne and I saw some of the rock art, but it was at a different place. We were invited out to the Myers Spring pictograph site. It has some really cool pictographs, and some of the pictographs were over 4,000 years old, and then they had some of the later dates, and some of the pictographs were done by the Humanos that that depicted some churches, either yeah, a church in New Mexico is what they believe it depicted, and then a little more recent pictographs out there were the was of the crown dancers, which would be from the Apache. It was a really cool sight to see. Also, in those pictographs at Myers Spring, that's where they actually put some of the Spanish conquistadors in those pictographs. So hopefully we'll be doing some more native historic events. We haven't heard anything as of yet, but you know, as soon as I find out, I definitely will let y'all know. And we're gonna go ahead and do this. Joanne's going to take some time off, and we're going to attend buffalo harvest at the Texas Tribal Buffalo Ranch. Welcome in, Akari. Good to see you. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to look that up. I could go back into some of the pictures I have and make a short of it. Oh, okay. Well, you know, it was good to see you, Emily. I'm glad you came in. Have a good evening. Yeah, I would have to dig way back on pictures. Let me see what else. I mentioned about hopefully we get invited to more native historic events. Of course, powwows that I know of, you know, possibly in April, then September, and I think the Floresville is in October. But the one in Floresville is not a true powwow because they don't have fry bread or Indian tacos. Of course, with spring, well, if you call it here having a spring, we usually switch from winter to summer within a week or two or a day. You know, so there's some rivers I want to go kayak. I may set in at the Llano City Park on the Llano River and do some kayaking there. or if I get a partner with kayaking at on the South Llano River, start in the state park, and then kayak from there to the city park in the town of Junction. Hey Jose, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. I need to get back and catch one of your lives. Yeah, and kayak from the let me backtrack. Kayak from the South Llano River State Park to a to the city park in Junction. Of course, I mentioned that about the Mission Reach too earlier. Okay, I'm gonna slide back. I'm apparently missed something from Barry Barry. Oh, what car? Jags Drive Volkswagen. God, I usually have a bunch of jokes like that, but I can't even think of one right now. Yeah, that is right, Todd. Yes, it is. Yes, right now I'm running this little pit on propane, but it'll run on butane. Yes, it is, Jose. Yeah, it's a little mini fire pit, and as all us Texans know, we're in a burn ban, so I can't be lighting the wood. I actually have a bigger pit for wood burning. Unfortunately, I can't light it right now. Let's see what else I might do. Oh yeah, one thing I had been doing on my channel, and I've only done 2 videos of this. It's a second series, and it's what I call town tours. Of course, I've done Bandera and Helotes. I'm going to hold off on Fredericksburg since I basically tour Fredericksburg every, you know, every Thanksgiving week when they are doing the Christmas tree lighting there. And that's a really cool event to see. And I meet another YouTuber and a friend of mine named Jerry. His channel's Tangent Trails, and I met we have met him the last 3 years in Fredericksburg. Oh yeah, yeah. I seen Jeff's messages. Yeah, I definitely hope he stays safe in that. Oh yeah, I've been doing the town tours, and if I don't have so many gimbal errors, maybe when I get into some of those towns, I'm thinking of just doing this. I think it's called St. Louis Square in the town of Castroville. Just go ahead and do a walkthrough on that. Oh yeah, Corey. Today, Joanna and I were at the San Antonio Zoo. I can't tell you the schedule of it, but they have Locals Day, and it's only $8 a person to visit the zoo. Not their typical price of about $30 a person. Oh yeah, definitely. When you watch Switchback Texans, yeah. Oh, and his videos are so well put together, and they're so entertaining. He definitely does a great job. And hopefully, sometime in the future, no definite plans. Hopefully, I can meet up again with Corey. Also, Troy and I haven't set a specific date, but we plan to go to Palmetto, and then I will definitely let y'all know when uh, if they have that powwow in April. It'd be cool to have the powwow in April, because well, they did have some of the native dancing when we were at the Fry Bread Social. The first Fry Bread Socials, they had vendors in the fry breads, and of course they did native blessings in that. But uh, we we got to visit. We were, and very first time we were at a Fry Bread Social, we met the namesake of what they call them now. We met Cristela Cortez King. She was a very nice lady. Fortunately, she lost her battle to pancreatic cancer, and after that, since she was one of the founding members of the San Antonio Missions Indian Descendants, they went ahead and named the Fry Bread Socials after her. And then, of course, we meet with two of the main members, Margot and Diane, and they're always real good to us. In fact, they actually have a YouTube channel. It's with the abbreviation San Antonio SMI SMID, I think, something like that. San Antonio Missions in yeah. S, they had YouTube channel, and they were actually live Saturday, but unfortunately on their lives they had the chat off, uh, and when I have talked to the person who creates their videos and their lives, I was telling them they need to have where people can interact with their channel. I'm seeing where it says, "Hi, Paula." Well, Paula, welcome in. Of course, I'm probably missing quite a bit on the chat. Well, have a good night, Todd. And have a fantastic week as well. Vaya con Dios. And saying vaya con Dios reminds me of that one guy that I can't think of his show on PBS. Well, the Texas Day Tripper, and that's how he ends all his videos. Well, it's kind of interesting because I share especially my native event videos, I share them off to some native groups on Facebook, and I was given a Apache greeting, and it's a greeting basically saying hi. And also on one of my videos, some guys were given the same greeting. It's spelled AHO. They're like, oh, yeah. And one of the guys I met at one of the native groups, and y'all may be familiar with this gentleman if you ever seen Con Air or the movie Blood In, Blood Out. I think it was a TV show, Dexter. The gentleman's name is Jesse Borrego. He was kind of cool to meet on that. And we met up with him again at the Yanaguana Fest, and that was what, October or November? No, it was in November. And speaking of that, that will be another event later on this year. It'll be the Yanaguana Fest. And the word Yanaguana, it refers to two things here. It basically refers to the city of San Antonio and the settlements here that were pre-colonial. Also, it refers to the San Antonio River. If you're familiar with the river barges here, one of the companies that run them is called Yanaguana. And they base it off a native paella term for this area. That is one thing getting with Joanne. I've learned so much about native culture and some native history, and also it's pointed me to look into other stuff. Hey, Calvin. I'm Jeff. Is there anything that you prepare for when you get winter storms like that? Any specific precautions you take to keep you and Calvin safe? Because a few weeks ago, we had a situation, and I know it's nothing compared to what you get, Jeff, but we're gonna be below freezing for more than a day. Oh, I bet it is. And but I still took precautions, like covering the hose bibs outside and opening the cabinets up so heat could get to the plumbing and then dripping the inside faucets. That's all I did, and then once we got to where we're in the low 30s and that, and I was like, the threat to the plumbing's pretty much gone at that point, so I quit dripping them. But usually, when it gets towards the winter months here, I already have my hose bibs outside covered. But I do recall February of 2021 is we ended up being below freezing for about a week, which is extreme for this area. In fact, the coldest temperature we got in that stretch was 9 degrees Fahrenheit. And my house did fine, and I was able to go and check on Jackie Boy. Yeah. But during that stretch, I was at work because the power companies here started what they call rolling blackouts, and I didn't see anything rolling about it. They'd like, we're turning off your power, tough luck, you know. Yep. I will just say that was an engineering disaster. Some people were not prepared for a cold stretch here. Oh, really? The Olympics in Southern California? I've known they've had Summer Olympics in Los Angeles before, probably several times. I want to see them have the Summer Olympics in San Antonio and see how many people deal with that type of heat. Because Los Angeles usually isn't that hot. Okay. I think I would have to look it up, but I believe they had it there sometime in the 1980s. Yes, it would. Yes, it would be, Corey. I want to see. I want to see the people from Eastern and Northern Europe handle 102-degree weather. Yeah, I heard the next T-Rex Olympics will be having a push-up contest. Guess Chris will get my joke. In your yard, Chris. Good one, car. There goes that cat again. I'm kind of starting to have fun with these lives. You know, did a live recently when we're driving to Fiesta, Texas to pick up Joanne's daughter. In fact, I mean, it was the wrong time for most of y'all. But when I was at Government Canyon last Friday, I was on the Bluff Spurs Trail, and I checked and I said I got signal, but I didn't have anything to stabilize my phone. But I said I'm gonna go live from up here. I think I was only live for about 15 minutes, but it was in a state park on trail. So that was kind of cool to do. Also, I got the fire pit, and I'm using the valve to regulate it some. Air. It'll kick up a little bit. Then I have my camp light here, and I can play with the intensity. Kind of a cool little light there. And in fact, with that light, I can I can actually use it as a power bank. Clean up on aisle 67. Yep. Yep. I was there. Hope I didn't scare anyone. You know what? Since I gotta clean up on hello, Stone Wolf Outdoors. Tony, if I'm right. If I remember right. Well, welcome in, Tony. Good to see you. But you're catching me right at the time I'm about to shut this down. I've been on this for an hour. Plus now I gotta clean up on aisle 67. Well, I like to thank everybody who joined me on this live. I hope you'll have a good evening. I also hope you have a good and blessed week, upcoming week. And everyone, thank you, Corey. Everyone have a good evening.